Let's take a look next at odd and even numbers and strategies that your child will need for doubling and halving. Now, they may have already learnt some of these, but usually I find they need a lot more practice than they do get at school. So let's look first at partitioning. Again, we've got our whole pot models back. See, they're already coming in really useful, aren't they? So we will partition this one into 70 and 4. Partition that 74. And of course here we've got 70. Now 70 is an even number, but if we look at the number of tens, we've got an odd number of tens. Now that's going to be important knowledge, particularly when your child comes to halving. And then if we look at the number 4, we've got 4 ones. Well, 4 ones, because that's an even number, your child might already know that that's quite easy to split in half. The second number I've got over here is 26, so that's going to partition into 20 and 6. And this time we've got an even number of tens. Now, discuss with your child which of those numbers they think is going to be easier or harder to double or halve. Let's have a look at what happens next. Let me just put in the 70 and the 4 again, the 20 and the 6. Now, with Deans, this is a fantastic resource to use for doubling and halving, because we can start to sort our tens into 2 groups. Here we go. So I've got 3 tens over there, 3 tens over there. This one left in the middle. So let's move over to the ones. And I'll put 2 ones over there and keep 2 of the ones here. Now this one here, the 10 that we've got left in the middle, of course we're going to have to split up into 5 and 5, and then we're going to have to put 5 over there. And we're going to have to put 5 over here as well. So that's a really practical visual way for your child to see that when you have an odd number of tens, that one of those tens will need to be split into 2 pieces. Now let's see what happens when we share out our 26. Well, you know that's going to be much easier. So we've got 10 over there, 10 over here, and one of my ones hidden behind my head. There we go. That was much easier and much quicker to do. So your child might already know that, but let's have a look, because we don't always have Deans around. So what happens when you don't have Deans and you just have whole part models and you are thinking of halving a number? Well, in this case, what I would do here is take the 70 and split it into another whole part model. There we go. And I'm going to put 60 in here because I know that even number of tens is easy to split. And I'll put that leftover 10 just there. Now I'm going to halve my 60. That's going to become 30. One little arrow to show that's my result there. And of course I'm going to halve 10. Now, really good fact for your child to know that half of 10 is 5. And then I'm going to bring this one down and halve the 4, which is 2. And if I add all those results together, I end up with 37, half of 74. Let's do the same over here on the 26. Now you'll see already this is much easier. We do not need to split our 20 into another whole part model. We can go straight ahead and say half of 20 is 10 and half of 6 is 3, and add those together. Is that going to be behind my head? I'll write it underneath to give us 13. Now, one other thing you might want to explore with your child is doubling numbers as well. And is the same true? Is it harder to double odd numbers, or is it harder to double even numbers, or are they relatively both the same? Are there any numbers that are harder to double than others? So let's look again. We've got our whole part models and split our 34 here into 30 and 4, and then go ahead and double it, so timesing it by 2, which I'm going to do to both sides. Now double 30, double 3, of course, is 6, so double 30 is going to be 60, and double 4 is going to give me 8. Now if I add those two parts together, so we're going from partitioning to bringing together now, that's going to give me 68, which I'll write underneath. Now let's look at a different number over here, 78. So partition into 70 and 8. These might be trickier, because what will I need to do now when I double these numbers? I'm going to need to involve that place value work that we looked at before. If I take my 7 tens and I double 7 tens, I will have 14 tens. There's my 14 tens. And if I double 8, I will have 16. So now I have two much larger numbers to add up, 140 and 16. That's going to give me 156. If your child needs to, column addition is a perfectly good way to solve that end calculation. Hope this video has been useful for you. Please do leave me some comments and let me know your thoughts.